Hi friends. So as you begin to kind of settle into your practice today, I invite you to grab either a yoga bolster if you have one, or a couple of firm pillows, couch cushion, whatever you have. We will use it towards the end. So go ahead and grab your props, whatever you have lying around the house. I'm gonna set this off to the side just as we start. And as you are getting situated, grabbing your props, whatever you need here, I invite you to find a seat, a nice supportive, comfortable seat. We're not going to be here for too long, just a few minutes to kind of start to check in and notice how you feel. So as you get seated, notice how it feels to kind of bring some energy down, come into the present moment, maybe start to feel into your hips, into your sit bones. Notice the ground underneath you. And maybe just simply start by checking in. What does it feel like to ground down, to be connected to the ground, to the earth underneath me? Maybe if you're like me, it's a little bit harder of a surface. Maybe you are on a little bit softer of a surface. Just kind of notice that sensation as you start to come into a seat. And then option to close your eyes down or have a nice neutral gaze just gently down the bridge of your nose. Maybe you want to take a couple deep rounds of breath just to help you settle into that seat more. Maybe you need to take a little movement here. Maybe you want to rub your hands up and down your legs, or rub the palms of your hands together. Maybe shake your hands, your arms out. So if you're experiencing a lot of anxiety coming into this practice, you may need to get some wiggles out before we settle into stillness. So option to rub your hands together, shake it out. Maybe you just need to kind of rock side to side. Anything you need here. Just a few more rounds of breath. Just allow yourself to settle in wherever you're at. And then I invite you to begin to find a little more stillness in your body. And start to bring your awareness, just to start to notice your physical body. Notice how your body is feeling. So maybe you are having some tension, some pain. Maybe you just notice that your heart is beating a little bit faster. Just kind of simply notice here. How does your physical body feel as you start to settle into stillness? I invite you to check in. Notice your jaw. Maybe kind of move your jaw around. Notice any tension there. Option to even bring your hands up. Maybe give yourself just a little mini massage around your jaw. Maybe that space between your eyebrows is super tight. Maybe you need to massage that area out a little bit. And then start to focus in on your shoulders. Notice if they're kind of curved in a little bit. Maybe you're rounding through your spine. Can you find a little bit of length in your spine? Can you let your shoulders be nice and heavy away from your ears? Notice your mind here. Where is your mind at right now? Maybe it has already been to 100 different places in the last couple of minutes. Maybe you're really holding a lot of stress around something specific. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're feeling stress and anxiety and you just don't know where it's coming from. That's okay too. Just notice, where are your thoughts landing? Maybe what are the distractions that are popping up for you right now? Maybe you're feeling really antsy about staying for a 60-minute practice. Maybe you're feeling really antsy about anticipating the rest of your day or the rest of your evening. Wherever your thoughts are at, acknowledge those distractions, acknowledge those things that are trying to get your attention without judgment, without expectation. And then I invite you to start to pull your focus back to the present moment. Go ahead and notice again your sit bones, your hips. Feel that sensation of grounding down wherever you're seated. And then maybe feel that sensation, that nice lengthening in your spine, allowing your shoulders to be heavy down your back. Find a little bit of an opening in your chest here. Take a couple deep rounds of breath. Again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. 2 more like that. Last one. Option to keep that breath going. Nice, slow, deep inhales through your nose and really slow, deep exhales out through your mouth, really pushing that air out. Option to return to normal breathing if that feels better. Wherever you're at here, we're taking a few more rounds of breath. Tuning into those sensations. What does it feel like to inhale deeply? What does it feel like to find a sense of control over your breath? Whether you're tuning into just the natural rhythm of your breathing here, or whether you're taking those longer inhales and exhales, what does it feel like? And how does your body feel as you start to sink into your breath? For these last few rounds of breath here, try to make your exhales a little bit longer than your inhales. So if you're inhaling for a count of 4 or 5, see if you can make that exhale maybe a count of 5 or 6. And on each inhale, find a little length in your spine. And on each exhale, ground down just a little bit more. 3 or 4 more rounds of breath at your own pace, to your own rhythm. And wherever you're at here, if your eyes are closed, start to blink them open. And just start to come back to the space that you're in. Maybe it feels nice to kind of sway side to side, get a little bit movement coming back into your body. And for this practice, we're going to take one standing posture. It's going to be a nice standing forward fold, and then we'll meet back down on the floor. So go ahead, meet me in a standing posture wherever you're at. And go ahead, feel free for this first, or for this standing forward fold, bring your feet as wide apart as feels good, and slowly let your upper body fold as far as it'll go. And you can make this forward fold whatever you need it to be. So maybe your feet are really wide apart, maybe they're a little bit closer together, maybe your knees are really bent, and then just find a shape that works. You can let your arms hang loose, you can grab opposite elbows. Maybe your body needs to kind of find some movement. Maybe you need to sway side to side. Maybe you need to kind of bounce up and down. And wherever you're at here, whether you're finding movement, whether you're finding stillness, find your breath wherever you're at here. Continue to breathe. Continue to feel into that breathing, into any sensations here. And we're just going to be here for a few more rounds of breath. Allow your head, neck, and shoulders to be nice and heavy. Can you just completely let go here? Feel your upper body starting to ground down to the earth, crown of your head, pointing towards the earth here. 3 or 4 more rounds of breath. Let it all go. And then as you're ready, slowly and gently bend your knees if they're not already. Keep your spine rounded as you stand all the way up. Really, really slow. Take your time here. And as you reach the top, go ahead, and I know you probably can't see me. I'll squat down so you can see me. Go ahead and just start to take some shoulder circles, just some slight movements in your shoulders. An option to take this, you can stay standing. We're going to meet in a seat soon, so if you want to get into that seat, you can. Either way, wherever you're at, take some shoulder rolls. You can make this big arm movements, big arm circles, whatever you need here. Just a couple more rounds of breath. Alrighty, let's meet in a tabletop shape on hands and knees. And as you get there, just start to rock your hips side to side. Find any sort of movement here. Option to take a few cat-cows. For your cat-cows, as you inhale, you'll drop your belly, bring your gaze up. And then on your exhale, you'll round your spine, tuck your chin towards your chest. So option for a few cat-cows, option for some head and neck movement, some hip rocks, whatever you need here. Just a couple more rounds. Alrighty, we are going to take a toe stretch. So stay in your tabletop, and I'll give you several options. We're going to land in our toe stretch for 2 minutes today, okay? This can get really intense if you've never done this, but hang in there with me. So go ahead, start by tucking your toes under. And option, you can even kind of reach back if you want and kind of separate them a little more if you're not wearing socks. If you are wearing socks, you can just kind of leave them as is. And start to walk your hands back towards you. So move your hips back towards your heels and hold here. If this is enough, if you're already feeling a really intense sensation, stay here. If you want to take it a step further, you can come up all the way, sitting on your heels. So this is the most intense variation. And 2 minutes is starting now. So find your edge here. Find that point of tension that you can sit in for 2 minutes. And the best way to get through that tension is to breathe. Focus on your breath. This is the time where those longer exhales really, really help. So nice, slow, deep inhales. And on your exhales, really extend it. Continue that focus on your breath here. At any point, if you feel actual pain or cramping in your feet, definitely pull back out of this. Take that intensity out of the stretch. Listen to your body. You don't want to push through pain. You don't want to push through a bad foot cramp. That's miserable. But see if you can sit with that tension. Maybe check in, notice the palms of your hands. See if you can ground them down wherever you're at, whether it's on the tops of your legs, on the floor, wherever they're landing here. We've got 1 more minute left, okay? Hang in there with me, we're almost there. You got this. I'm right in it with you. We're almost there. Take 3 more rounds of breath, nice and slow, nice and steady. Don't rush it. You got this. We're almost there. When you get through those rounds, slowly, really gently, start to come back to your tabletop from wherever you're at. Untuck your toes. Whoo! Take your time, okay? Maybe you just need to let your feet be in stillness. A lot of people like to kind of shake their feet out. The first time I ever did a toe stretch was in a yin class with I don't know, there were probably a good 20, 25 of us, and everyone was shaking their feet at the same time because it was just so intense. I think we held it for 3 or 4 minutes. It was wild. Whew. Okay, check in with your feet. Maybe you kind of need to reach back, check in with them, see how they're feeling. And I do want to make a note about foot stretching. So if you've never done a foot stretch like that, it's very normal to have some cramping afterwards, especially if your feet aren't used to being in that position for an extended period of time. If you're somebody who struggles with foot cramps in general, that stretch can actually really help. So that's just a little side note. The foot stretch is very intense. Just kind of be aware, be mindful if you start to have any sort of cramping, but that's just kind of the initial getting your feet used to it if this is your first time doing it. Alrighty, so we got through our toe stretch. We're gonna move into child shape for several minutes. So I invite you to, if you're not already there, meet me back in tabletop. And then option, you can keep your knees just kind of parallel facing forward, and you can push your hips back and take that variation. That's going to take the intensity out of your hips. If you want to feel this in your hips, bring those knees further apart and try to keep your big toes touching if you can, and then start to push your hips back as far as they'll go towards your heels, and then walk your arms forward. See how far you can ground down here. So as you get situated, start to notice where you might feel tension in your body already. So I'm gonna sit up as I'm talking to you, but stay where you're at in your child shape. Allow yourself to get situated. So a couple of things to note here. Again, if you're already feeling tension in your body, tune into that. Maybe you're feeling it a lot in your hips, maybe your shoulders, maybe your upper back is really tense. Maybe it feels impossible for you to ground all the way down in your upper body. Maybe your forehead doesn't land down on the floor. Maybe your forearms don't quite ground down. That's okay. Okay, so the point of this posture is not to get all the way down to the ground. You want to settle in as much as your body is allowing you today. Okay, so if you're having a lot of tension in your body, or if you are experiencing pain or something else is going on physically for you, it just may not be working for your body today to land all the way down, and that's okay. So find what works for you in this shape. Find any variation of child's, because we're going to be here for several minutes. For some people, it works better for them to actually bring their arms down by their sides and kind of almost wrap around their feet or just land down on the ground. So again, notice what's accessible in your body today. What variation of this shape do you need to take to be able to settle in for several minutes? Wherever you're at here, I invite you to check in with your arms, whether they're extended out in front of you, whether they're down by your sides. Check in. Can you let them go a little bit more? Can you release a little bit more tension all the way from your shoulders down into palms of your hands, tips of your fingertips? And see what that's like to try to let go a little bit through your arms. And as you do, kind of work that awareness into your shoulders, back into your shoulder blades. Where are your shoulders landing today? Can you allow them to ground down just a little bit more? Again, release just a tiny bit more. And we have 3 more minutes left in this shape. So like I said, we are here for longer today. Maybe check in with your hips. Feel into those sensations. Maybe there's a lot of tension that you're trying to release. Maybe it just feels really nice to settle in, to ground down, to let go. Notice your jaw here. Can you release a little tension? Loosen that part of your body up just a little bit. And then notice your forehead. And I should have said this sooner, but if your forehead isn't grounded down, you can always grab your props, a blanket, and place it underneath your forehead just to help support a little bit more. But wherever you're at, just notice that sensation of your forehead, your head being nice and grounded, sinking a little bit deeper towards the earth. What's that sensation like? We have 1 more minute left. Wherever you're at, I invite you just into some stillness here, some silence, and I'll check back in with you very soon. Wherever you're at, take 2 or 3 more rounds of breath here. See if you can come back to noticing your breath. And then really, really slowly on an inhale, start to come back into tabletop. Really round through your spine as you come all the way up on that inhale. And then exhale, drop your belly. Find a cow shape here. Open up through your chest. Lift your gaze up towards the sky. And then come back to neutral. Awesome. Let's go ahead and meet in a seat. Notice how you feel here. And we're going to transition into a butterfly shape. So go ahead and bring the bottoms of your feet together. And to start, we're going to take a little bit of movement and then we'll settle in to a nice little forward fold. So go ahead and grab or just kind of reach around your feet here, just really gently so you have somewhere to rest your hands. And on an inhale, find some length in your spine. Exhale, start to fold forward, round through your spine. And then again, inhale, find length in your spine, sit up. Exhale, fold forward. So take this at your own pace. Inhaling to lengthen your spine. And exhaling to fold forward. Maybe 3 or 4 more rounds wherever you're at. Again, at your own pace. And then whenever you find yourself back in that forward fold, go ahead and stay. And try not to strain or force this fold. Option to keep your hands where they're at, or I like to just kind of bring mine down on the floor and then just let gravity take your upper body. So for a lot of us, that may mean that you're almost kind of up here and maybe your head's the only thing that kind of folds forward. For some of you, maybe you're down here closer to where I am. And for some of you, you may find that your head reaches all the way down to the ground. Doesn't matter where you land. Just kind of notice, where does gravity take my body? And settle in. We'll be here for 2 minutes. Check in. Notice where you may already feel this tension in your hips, in your knees. If at any point your knees are really starting to bother you, go ahead and come out of this. You can always, an alternative is to straighten your legs in front of you and find a forward fold that way, okay? So if your knees are bothering you, definitely take that alternative forward fold. But wherever you're at here, Go ahead and release through your head and neck. See if the crown of your head can be nice and grounded towards the earth, wherever you land. Release through your head, your neck, your shoulders, your jaw, that space just between your eyebrows. Let it all go here. Wherever you are at, maybe start to wiggle through your toes, through your fingers, very slowly. Keep your spine rounded and start to sit up again, nice and slow. Your head and neck are the last to arrive. Take your time here. Ooh. Notice how you feel. Option to help your knees up if you are taking that butterfly shape, and then start to straighten your legs all the way in front of you. That should feel pretty good. Whew, for your hips, for your knees, just in general for your lower body. Maybe point and flex through those toes for a few rounds. Maybe kind of shake out those legs. Oh, awesome. Just take a couple more rounds of breath here. Allowing that circulation to come back into your legs. Alrighty. So wherever you're at, we're gonna get into the hips one last time. Okay, so we're gonna take this in stages and you just find what is gonna work in your body today. So stay in that seat, but go ahead and plant your feet, bend your knees just slightly. You're gonna plant your hands just a little bit behind you. Try to face those fingers forward towards your legs. Alrighty, so once you found a nice stable seat, you're gonna keep your left leg exactly where it is. Go ahead and cross your right ankle over top of your left leg, okay? Notice how this feels in your body. Option when you arrive, maybe rock side to side. You can even close your eyes down here if this feels really nice. I'm gonna resituate myself here. This feels really nice. You can kind of just close your eyes. Option to keep your head and neck neutral or let your head just kind of fall back if that feels okay. Find this movement. Find what feels okay in your body here. And then come back to stillness, come back to center. Option to stay here. If this is enough for you, if you're already feeling tension and a stretch in your hip and your legs, stay here. If you want to take another step further, walk your left foot towards the right and then start to bring your left knee down. So you're taking this cross-legged shape and taking it towards the earth. And notice how this feels. If this is enough, you can stay here. Next option If you're still not feeling much, you can try to stack or recenter that right ankle over your left knee. And then maybe you start to move that right knee over your left ankle. So this has a lot of different names. I call it square pose or square shape. So you're attempting to make a square with your legs. And again, just kind of land wherever your body lands here. Okay, this is most likely going to be a really, really, really intense stretch. Most likely for your hips. Maybe you feel it somewhere else. Again, always be aware of your knees. And then if you're still not feeling much, if you want to take it a step further, you can always fold forward to whatever extent works in your body. Okay, so we're here for 1 more minute. We're not holding for too long. This is a really intense stretch, but it's going to be really helpful for your hips, for any other things feeling overwhelming right now. Maybe picture that leaving your body as you work out that tension in your hips, wherever else you feel it. We're almost there. This practice is not about how you look. It's not about how flexible you are. It's just about being present with yourself and breathing through that tension, feeling into those sensations and releasing anything you need to release today. 3 more rounds of breath. Release whenever you're ready. Take it really gently. Just kind of start to work your way out of this shape, however you came into it. Whew. And then, option, if you just need to straighten your legs right away in front of you, maybe you need to shake your legs out, or you can bring your feet nice and wide and just take some windshield wipers. So just allowing your knees to fall from side to side, following each other. Anything you need here. Windshield wipers, maybe you just need to stretch those legs out in front of you. Take whatever you need here, just a couple rounds of breath. Give yourself a little break before we take it to the other side. So check in with yourself here. Notice how you're feeling. Maybe that was really super challenging. Maybe it just felt really good to release. Alrighty. If you are ready, let's take it to the other side. So we're going to take the same exact steps, and maybe you notice that you can take it a little farther on the other side. Maybe you notice you have to pull it back a little bit. So there's no expectation for both sides to be exactly the same. So listen to your body, tune into those sensations, see what's going to work for the other side. So keep that right foot grounded, and then we're just going to start by taking your left ankle over top of your right leg. Settle in, find that nice movement side to side. You can make this movement whatever you need it to be. Just a few more rounds of breath. Starting to warm up through your hips a little bit. Awesome. Alrighty, find that stillness, come back to center, and again, stay here if this is enough for you. This is where you land. If you want to take it that next step, walk that right foot over to the left and start to push this shape down towards the earth as far as it'll go. Maybe you land somewhere in the middle here. Maybe you play with stacking your left ankle over top of your right leg or right knee. Maybe you play with taking that full square shape in your legs. I had a yoga student one time that I taught this in a class tell me that this makes their hips feel like they're breaking. And I clarified, I'm like, are you feeling pain? Because if you're feeling pain, please come out of it. And they weren't feeling pain. They just felt like their hips were in a shape that they'd never felt before. So if you also feel like your hips are breaking, but you're not having pain, that's okay. That means you're just trying something new. You're feeling into it. And again, settle in. We've got 1 more minute left here. Find your breath. See if it's possible to focus on grounding down here, whether it's just through your sit bones, whether you're all the way to where you're taking a forward fold. Find some grounding. Three more rounds of breath wherever you're at here. We're almost through. When you're through those rounds, slowly start to unravel. Wherever you're at, just retrace your steps back to the beginning and take whatever you need here. Maybe you take those windshield wipers, rocking side to side. Maybe you just straighten your legs in front of you. Oh, take a few deep breaths here as well. Find that release in your hips and your legs, wherever you are feeling this. And maybe give yourself a pat on the back for making it through. Again, no judgment. It doesn't matter how far you took that stretch. It just matters that you were in it, you got through it. And I believe we are through the most intense part of this practice. So I'm going to invite you to stay in a seat, but just kind of meet me in whatever seat feels most comfortable. We're not going to be here for too long. We will eventually land on our backs and start to wind everything down. We're going to take a nice rest at the end. But just for now, meet me in whatever seat feels good. Maybe close your eyes down. Try to see if you can ground your palms down on the tops of your legs. Again, check into your breath. Notice how your body feels here. Maybe you feel some activation in your body. Maybe you feel some nice tension release happening. Then go ahead and blink your eyes open. And grab your bolster, whatever props you have available for you. Make sure they're accessible so you can just grab them. We'll use them in just a minute. And then we are going to find our way to our backs. And this is also a good time to grab a blanket or two if you want to get really comfy cozy at the end. You can totally do that. But just find a lying down shape that works for you. And you can straighten your legs in front of you. You can cross them like me. Totally doesn't matter. The focus right now is going to be on your upper body. So I invite you to extend your arms all the way overhead and see if you can clasp your hands together. And as high up, as far overhead as your arms will go, extend them and see how that feels. Take a couple of really deep rounds of breath here. stretch into your arms, into your shoulders. Maybe it's super tight, that's okay. And then transition into bending your elbows. So release your fingers, release your hands, bend at your elbows, and I'm gonna move my prop here. Bend at your elbows and see if you can open up your arms, bending at your elbows, and just have a nice open shape in your front body. And then again, on an inhale, straighten your arms up overhead. See if you can bring the palms of your hands together. And then exhale, bend at your elbows, open up. 2 more like that. Inhale, extend those arms up overhead. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Awesome. Go ahead, release your arms, and then bring your knees in towards your chest. Pull them towards you. Wrap your arms around yourself. You can keep your head grounded here and just start to rock side to side. Notice how this feels in your body. Take any sort of movements that feel good here. Maybe you just want to hold in stillness for a moment. And as you're ready, we're going to take those legs to the left. So just allow your knees to drop to the left. We're moving into a spinal twist here. I don't know if you could hear that, but my spine just popped so loud. I can never tell what you guys can hear through these mics. And sometimes when I'm editing back, I realize that things are either louder than I thought or you can't hear it at all. So if you heard that, that was just my spine needing to crack. So settle into this. We're just going to be here for maybe 5 or 6 rounds of breath. Long, slow inhales, slow, steady exhales. See if you can let your legs go a little bit more in these last couple rounds. Your head, back of your head is nice and grounded. Backs of your shoulders, see if you can ground them down a little bit more. Option to stay here a little longer or transition to the other side as you're ready. Take your time. We're slowing things down a lot here, so be really gentle with yourself. And as you transition to the other side, check in. Notice how this other side feels. Notice if you need to readjust anything. Same thing. Find that groundedness in the back of your head. Try to ground down through both shoulders, the backs of your shoulders. Find your breath. Again, take your time, slowly transitioning out of this shape. If you need to stay for longer, stay. Wherever you are at. I invite you to find your final resting shape. So that's where your bolster or your pillows may come in really handy. For this particular rest, I invite you to find some sort of elevation in your legs. So maybe you're by a couch, a chair, a bed, and you can just kind of swing your legs up, over. If you're not by that, that's where those pillows or your bolster can kind of come in handy. Maybe you just kind of place that underneath your knees or underneath your feet to kind of help you settle in. Other option for your rest, one I really like, is to take your bolster, your pillows, whatever you have, place it next to you on either side, and then just sort of lay down over it and maybe have like a blanket or something for your head, or just kind of lay all the way down and get situated. So whatever feels good here, take any sort of resting shape, whether you're on your back, whether you're on your side, maybe you have your props, a blanket. Find something that feels really soothing. What's a shape? What's a resting shape that will feel really soothing for your body right now? Maybe you just kind of need to curl up on your side with a blanket over you. As you settle in to this final resting shape, we're going to be here for about 5 minutes or so. So as you settle in, notice that sensation of getting comfortable, feeling supported. Option to close your eyes down here. And if you feel like as you're coming into stillness and silence, maybe your mind starts to wander, if so, bring it back to your breath. Practice isn't over just yet. We still have a few minutes together. We still have a few minutes to rest. This is your time to rest, to be. Nothing to do, no responsibilities. You just get to rest here. And I will check back in with you in just a few minutes. Wherever you are at here, I invite you to slowly tune back in. Notice your breath. Maybe start to wiggle a little bit through your fingers, through your toes. Start to come back to this space if you haven't already. And take your time here. If you, depending on what resting shape you're taking, maybe you need to stretch it out, maybe reach your arms up overhead, maybe extend your legs in front of you, or bring your knees in towards your chest. Take your time here, wherever you're at, finding a little bit of stretch, a little bit of transition for your body here as you start to wake up. And then from wherever you're at, if you're not there already, I invite you to roll to one side in a nice little fetal shape, nice little side-lying child shape. Take a few moments there. Give yourself another moment or two before you have to sit up. And then just as you're ready, at your own pace, find a seat. And we'll meet back together in a seat wherever you're at. As you arrive, option to keep those eyes closed. And maybe start to bring the palms of your hands together and just slowly start to rub them together. So you're starting to tune back into your physical body here. So notice the palms of your hands. Notice that sensation of them rubbing together. Notice your sit bones, your hips, connected, grounded to the earth beneath you. And then keep your palms of your hands together. And if it feels right, I invite you to bring them to the very center of your chest. Maybe even your thumbs touch into your chest here. Notice how your body feels. Notice your breath. Notice your mind. And as we end practice together, let's take 3 deep rounds of breath together. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth, let it go. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, let go in your shoulders. Last one, inhale. Exhale, let it all go. Thank you so much for joining me for practice. And as always, I will see you next time.